Okay, here we go. So we've got question set 15. Welcome back to school. Writing in completed square form, and that's the ding for welcome back to school. It's a little fanfare. Completed square form. This didn't go brilliantly last time, so let's have another go at it, shall we? Different questions. I want everyone to aim to get the first one done. Ideally, everyone to get the second, and then obviously not everyone's going to get the last, but at least have a go. Right? Really important that we have a go and don't just give up. You got 5 minutes starting now. Okay, so time's up. Let's go. Completed square form then. Let's have a look. So the first thing to do is to write that first bit in a bracket squared. So x squared becomes x, and you halve the coefficient of x to make 4, and square all of that. Now remember, we end up with this extra thing that we don't want. If I just show you what I mean. X minus 4 all squared. If I multiplied that out, I'd have x times x is x squared. I'd have one lot of minus 4x, another lot of minus 4x, and that's all fine, isn't it? X squared minus 8x, but I end up with this extra term that I don't want, because the minus 4 times minus 4 would make positive 16, which isn't what I want. I've got x squared minus 8x. That's the bit I'm trying to put in a little bracket. So you always have to take away this number squared. So take away minus 4 squared. Right? And then, of course, I've got my plus 25 on the end. Really must try and write neater. X minus 4. Right, so we're going to take away 16 plus 25, because remember this is negative, sorry, take away minus 4 squared. Well, minus 4 squared is 16, but we're still taking it away. And my final answer will be, the first bracket doesn't get affected, minus 16 plus 25 is the difference of 9. It's plus 9. All right? So you just sort of adjust it, just put those two numbers together. Again, half that coefficient of x. Now you could work in decimals, but frankly, that's a pain. You're much better off working with fractions. All right? Now, because otherwise I'm going to have 2.5, and I'm going to have to square 2.5. And that means probably getting calculator out or lots of fiddly work here. It's much easier to work with a fraction. I'm going to take away that number squared, 5 over 2 squared. And then, of course, I've got my plus 7 to sort out in the end. Well, that fraction, when you square a fraction, you times the top, you times the bottom. Oops, that's not very neat, is it? Let's redo that. Sorry, you can hear the Fortnite chatter in the background again. So, multiply the tops. 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 2 is 4. All right, so that was nice and easy. No calculator needed. Now, let's rewrite this number here over the same denominator, because I need to be able to, you know, work with these two numbers into a single one. So, I'm going to rewrite 7 as a fraction over the same denominator over 4. Well, 4 times 7 is 28. 28 over 4 is 7, right? Then I can do minus 25 quarters plus 28 quarters. So x plus 5 over 2 squared plus, what's the difference here? Well, it's 3 quarters. Okay, now if you've worked in decimals, so x plus 2.5 all squared plus 0.75, it's not wrong. Anything equivalent is fine. It's just, that was so much easier to work with fractions. Didn't need a calculator at all. This one, now remember, when we've got this number, this coefficient in front of x squared, the first thing we're going to do is put that outside a little, and I like to use a square bracket because it kind of shows you a little bit easier what's going on. So I'm going to basically factorise the first part of this expression, the 4x squared plus 20x, to get 4 brackets x squared plus 5. So that is all equivalent to 4x squared plus 20x. And then I've got my plus 5 on the end. Then I'll do what I did before with the bit inside the bracket. Here I'm going to put the x squared plus 5, I'm going to put it into a little bracket here. Oh, I've got the same thing, I've got x 5 over 2 again, haven't I? Because I'm going to halve that coefficient and make it squared. But then you've got to take away that number there, squared, the 5 over 2 squared. And there's the end of my square brackets. This is why I use the square brackets, because you can see what's going on with the bit that's separate in between. Bit awkward this one because we've got the fraction, but let's okay, no, let's keep this loads of steps here so we can really see what's going on. X plus 5 over 2 all squared, and this we know that When you square this bracket, you get 25 over 4 plus 5. Right, next step, let's move across now, is to multiply out this square bracket section. The first thing needs to be times by 4, and the second thing needs to be times by 4. We're just multiplying out the brackets here to get 4x plus 5 over 2 all squared. Take away 4 lots of 25 over 4. Now I could write 100 over 4, but actually timesing by 4 and dividing by 4 cancels out to leave 25. That's quite neat. And then of course I've still got my plus 5 on the end. So my final answer, which is so fine. And this is like, you know, proper kind of grade 9 stuff, this. Definitely grade 8. I'd say probably grade 9. Right, minus 25 plus 5 has a difference of minus 20. And well done to you if you got that, because that's a really awesome question. I want everyone to be able to do these middle ones and the top one ideally, and then I want most of us to aspire to at least get this bottom one, or at least try and get a couple of marks off it, you know, even if you can't finish the whole thing. Right, cool. Don't forget to mark your work. Otherwise, well done, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.